Member of the Iranian soccer team granted asylum in Australia changes her mind. Brisbane, one of the 7 members of the Iranian soccer team granted refuge in Australia, has changed her mind, forcing Australian officials to hurriedly move the other 6 women after she divulged her secret location to the Iranian embassy, the government in Canberra said. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke told the Parliament Wednesday that the woman who took up an offer of the visa on Tuesday night had consulted team members who had already left the country and requested to join them. Unfortunately, in making that decision, she'd been advised by her teammate and coach to contact the Iranian embassy and to get collected. Burke said without naming the woman. I immediately gave the instruction for people to be moved. The players have been under guard by Australian Federal Police at the secret location in Brisbane to prevent any attempt by regime loyalists to either persuade or force them to return to Iran. Fears have been growing for the fate of the women after they were branded traitors by the state media last week for failing to sing the national anthem before their opening match of the Asian Cup, which is being held in Australia. Dissent is harshly punished in Iran, as demonstrated earlier this year when the regime killed thousands of protesters who dared to challenge its rule. The Iranian government blamed most of the killings on rioters who were part of what it described as the organized Israeli-led plot. We know this regime has engaged in brutal treatment of the women and the girls, which why the government put so much effort into making sure that people did get given the choice to stay. Foreign Ministry Penny Wong told CNN affiliated 9 on Wednesday. Australia had been preparing for potential asylum claims since before the 12-team tournament and conducted a security check to confirm who may qualify for protection. The stakes rose considerably after the team's arrival in Australia when the US and Israel attacked Iran, triggering a conflict that turned the large swath of the Middle East into the war zone. Iran has reacted angrily to Australia's intervention, with the foreign ministry on Tuesday encouraging the woman to come home. Don't worry, Iran awaits you with open arms, the spokesperson said. A difficult decision. Earlier Tuesday, Burke confirmed that 7 women, 6 players, and a member of the support team had taken up Australia's offer for a permanent settlement. He said most members of the Iranian delegation had the opportunity for the private meeting with officials facilitated by the heavy police presence to separate team from Iranian minders. Not everyone was offered an interview. All the players remaining and most of the support people were taken into interview rooms without any minders present. Simply themselves and the Department of Home Affairs and interpreters, and they were given a choice, Burke said. In that situation, what we made sure of was there was no rushing, there was no pressure. The rest of the team depart Sydney Tuesday for Malaysia, arriving at Kuala Lumpur International Airport, where video posted to social media showed the members of the Iranian community arguing them not to return to Iran. But Mehdi Taj, head of the Iranian Football Federation, said the players had been taken hostage, with a direct reference to U.S. President Donald Trump, who inserted himself into the controversy on Monday by calling on Canberra to offer the players asylum. he tweeted that they should all take asylum and that if 5 of them stay, then the rest stay too. Then he threatened Australia that if they don't give them asylum, he will give them US asylum, Taj said in a video shared by Iranian state media. The tumultuous week, the Iranian women's team lost all 3 of each group stage matches in Australia to exit the tournament. Before their first match on March 2nd, the Lionesses stood silence during their national anthem. Sources close to the team told CNN Sports they were then forced under threat to their families to sing the national anthem ahead of their next 2 group games. Members of the Iranian community in Australia had attended the Lionesses games to express their support, but on Sunday, some ramped up effort to stop the players' return to Iran, mobbing the team bus as it returned to the players' hotel on the Gold Coast, Queensland state, and keeping vigil outside. Behind the closed door, official efforts were made to speak to the women, and the 5 confirmed that they're taken up the offer of refuge in Australia. Sports journalist Laha told CNN Sports that the families of 3 of those 5 players have been threatened. The players were joined by 2 more members of the team on Tuesday, and all 7 were reunited at the undisclosed location under the protection of police in Brisbane later that night, according to Burke. It was there that one of the women changed her mind. The observer outside the players' hotel on Tuesday told CNN that people had tried to stop the team bus from leaving for Gold Coast Airport for the scheduled flight to Sydney. The person at a hotel also said that one of the players looked to be crying as what appeared to be security guard escorted the team onto the bus. One player, her head bowed, was seen being led to the bus by the teammate by her waist. The Burke said Australian officials helped facilitate more calls between the players and their families in Sydney before all of them made the decision to board the flight out of the country. Burke said he spoke with the commissioner of the Australian Federal Police, called the AFP, before the visa were granted to confirm that players would be able to be protected in Australia. Of the 6 remaining, he said, processing will soon start for them to move to what's called the resolution of status, which is a permanent visa. I have no intention after everything that these individuals have gone through for them to have to fight through the court for permanent status in Australia. Burke said no short-term visas have been granted for the tournament to any members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, hardline enforcers who impose regime orders in Iran, but being granted the temporary visa doesn't mean that you're a great person, he added. There were some people leaving Australia who I am glad they are no longer in Australia, he said. CNN's Michael Rios, Patrick Song, and Angus Watson contributed reporting. Correction, this story has been updated to correct the makeup of the 7 Iranians granted a refuge in Australia. It is 6 players and 1 member of staff.